live streaming. How do you feel about
Oh,
that? First live
oh,
stream.
we just doing it. I've done live streams before. By the way, I stream on Twitch sometimes and play video games, but I've never done like a live stream of just this, I guess. I guess we hopped on to Cody's channel a week or two ago.
Right.
We've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
we've got some experience.
Cool. So we're gonna hop right into this. Just want to give a little blue cliff notes of what we're doing. So we were planning on getting together today to build the best TV show bracket. The snow here in Michigan, Metro Detroit, Michigan, would not allow that. My wife's car got stuck. Spent a bunch of time shoveling it out. So my street's not great. And the last thing I wanted was for Matt to, come over here and him to get stuck. So we're doing, the show must go on. We're doing it virtually, and we're gonna build the best TV show bracket, which is kicking off Monday, March 6th. So, Matt, do you want to give a little blurb about what the bracket's going to look like, kind of the format we're going to do, and then we'll hop into it.
Yeah, I mean, like TV shows are so tough to build a bracket around because there's so many, and it can just cover like so many different like genres and eras. Like Jeopardy is a TV show and it's an institution, and so are like soap operas and things like that. So we recognize that we had so much that we kind of needed to put some kind of like limits or like narrow it down a bit to be able to pull from a smaller pool, but still do like a really good bracket. So for our best TV show bracket, we're gonna have one half of it be what we would consider like TV dramas. So kind of serious shows, I guess, but anything drama. And then the other half will be TV comedies. So that we kind of have those two big, genres there. Fortunately, game shows don't really fall into those categories. I don't know. Maybe somebody will pull a fast one and be like, oh, Jeopardy like, makes me laugh every day. Or Family Feud. I mean, Family Feud is basically a comedy show.
Yeah, yeah, and I think on that, I think there's so many good game shows, competition shows, reality shows that those we might be able to do a separate bracket for that. Imagine Jersey Shore versus Guts or something like that. Like I think those
Oh,
types of shows we could do a totally separate one and maybe do like different regions of like kid shows, Guts, Legends of the Hidden Temple, Double Dare, and then another one, Jersey Shore, Catfished or whatever, that kind
oh
of
my
thing. So
god, those are all shows I love.
yeah,
So
for
mad they
sure.
were yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing here, and we'll do like a general 30 seconds on the clock. I don't have a way to like share a timer, so like we're just gonna have to do honor system, and then when we did best wrestler, we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna go one by one. We're gonna rotate picks, and then we'll go back the other way. Now, last time we decided it by a coin toss. Um, do
You
you want to
should
go
pull up like a coin flip website really
coin flip
quick. No, I don't know if
website?
you can share that. I could probably try to really
We're gonna
quick.
do it.
I'm fast at these things.
Coin.
I swear I'll do it super fast. I'm gonna share my screen. Da, da, da,
Wait,
da, 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 da.
I'm gonna call tails. Tails never fails.
Oh man, it won't let me share like a tab. Maybe if I add it as a source, I could do it. Nah, all right, I'll just share my screen. We'll see double of it really quick, I think, but it is what it is. Can you see this coin flip?
I cannot.
Really? Is it just sharing
Yeah,
the screen? Oh wait, it's still not sharing anything.
yeah. It doesn't seem to want to be sure. I
There
can.
we go. Now can you see it?
Now I can.
All right, we're just gonna flip this Google coin. You said
Cool.
tails?
I said tails.
Please flip. Flip again.
Flip.
I guess it
That
already
booty
flipped it
won't
once.
flip. Flip.
It
Flip.
was
Okay.
heads.
All right. So you get first pick. Now, I can go ahead and so, also, side note, we have a list of at least 100 TV shows that we compiled. We took everyone's submissions. So on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, we put up like, "Hey, everyone, DM us. Let us know what shows you want to see on here," and we put them all on a list. Now, will all of that? There's 64 shows in a bracket or 64 items in a bracket. we have well over 100, and I can flash the list we have. So not all of them are going to make it, and a lot of them I hadn't seen. So we're going to try to be as objective as possible. Like, of course, I want some of my personal favorites, in a good position, but you know, it's not gonna be perfect, but we're gonna do the best we can, and I will build the bracket as we go. So without further ado, Matt, what is your first overall pick?
I will ask for slightly more ado. I want to ado a little bit more from me.
Do the do.
So I haven't had a lot of time to look over this list, and so to get like this could have some wonky seating if we're going to be really consistent with like the
Awesome.
30 seconds because like I'm just
Mhm.
going to have to look at shows and um there's a lot I haven't seen and there's a lot that I haven't seen that are the most popular ones that I know will do best. And like you said, to try and be as like honest as we can with like the seating or at least relatively good. I might have some things in weird orders because I've got to pick quick.
Hey,
So that will be yeah,
cool.
that's where I'm at on that.
Okay, cool. Well, drum roll.
Yeah, without further ado then,
Institution.
are we starting with drama or comedy?
I think we start top left just like we did with wrestlers. We go drama, drama, comedy, comedy, drama, drama, comedy, comedy, and then we just keep going that. So, um, you got your number one overall pick for what is your number one show of all time.
So these are mixed in or they're each on the other side
Oh,
for
can
drama and
you see
comedy?
that
I
you
can see
could
the
so
bracket, yeah.
okay, so we're going left side of the bracket all drama,
Okay.
right side of the bracket all comedy. So it's gonna
That's what I thought. That was where I
be
explained it wrong because you're like drama, drama, comedy, comedy. I thought we are like 116s are dramas, 8, 9 is comedy. And I was like, oh God, I'm not ready for that.
oh geez, that would be super confusing. But yeah,
Yeah.
ideally
Yep.
the only time a drama will meet a comedy will be in the finals
In the
because
finals, for sure.
it'll be
Yeah,
the
that's okay.
best
Oh
comedy versus best
man.
drama, apparently.
This is terrible,
Okay.
because I'm worried that I do have a show that is debatably a 1 seed,
Okay.
but I'm worried I have it too high, and there was a lot of, dislike for its final seasons. I'm talking, of course, of I was trying to think of a funny joke, Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
Actually, that is true. I'm talking, of course, Game of Thrones. I'm
Okay.
worried about putting it at a 1. I'm worried my own bias is there. It was massive. It was major. I'm trying to look at any other shows on here.
Mhm.
I do know that there are like 2 or 3 shows that I think are just like higher like popularity with the same amount of like objectively good critical success.
Mhm.
Uh but I ooh, I okay. I'm gonna oh man. I'm gonna put dang. I'm yeah, I'm gonna put Game of Thrones as my 1 seed. I know you'll get one of the other. No, I'm gonna take it back. I will put Sopranos there. Do Sopranos.
Okay. All right. Wow, that was so you got your one take back. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
Okay. So I'll be quick. You're going Sopranos. I'm going Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I think with drama, just the way I viewed it through an objective lens, I think there are three shows that could make an argument for that one seed, and I think we touched them all. I think Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones.
You do think okay. I don't feel so bad now about
No,
bumping
I
Game of
think
Thrones up there.
without spoiling it, I think even though nobody liked the ending of Game of Thrones, like I still regard it as one of the greatest shows of all time, just because, like, and I watched it with my wife who had already seen it, and she kept telling me, like, she was very, very good about not spoiling any of it, but she did say, like, a lot of people didn't like the ending. And I knew it was coming, and sure enough, I didn't really like the ending, but I was a little let down at the end, which I think may give us the argument to put it at a 2 seed if we ended up doing that, but it was such a
Mhm.
good show. Like, the ride
Yeah.
is worth the bad ending. So I'm going
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. Now we venture over to comedy, and it's your pick for number one seed comedy. Hey,
Ooh.
comedy. Oh, and you're crossing them out. That's cool. We have, so side note, we have the shared document, and Matt's crossing off the ones we've already got. You're on top of it,
Yeah,
man.
I'll
Thank you.
cross through that to help us out. Comedy, I think we share a lot of similarities on comedy that we like. Oh, I'm okay. Because I know, and we talked about this earlier, that I have a few very specific picks that I don't know if they would make a lot of people's brackets, and I'm worried. I think I have to establish that I'm not screwing over the bracket too early, gain that trust of the viewer. So I am going to put probably the most obvious comedy as a one seed, and it rightly so should be a one seed. It's widely regarded as like the comedy of comedies, and so I will put Seinfeld. I think,
Seinfeld.
yeah.
Well, alrighty. Well, we got a. I think we got 3 out of 3 here with our one seeds. You could make an argument why any of these shows could win. I'm going to go ahead and, at the risk of being let down, I'm going to go with my personal favorite TV show of all time, number 1 seed on South Park.
I think that's totally fair. I think South Park, for how long it's been around, for how many different ways it's touched on comedy and done just like slapstick parody satire, had films and things like that, which isn't important for a TV show bracket, but its longevity, its topicalness, and also it's just wacky absurdity. It's done more comedy style successfully than any other comedy show. It's the only one that lends itself to being able to touch on all of these like different absurdist humor, satire, just like topical and newsworthy stuff. So 100%, I think it's a great one seed.
Sweet. Yeah. Here's where it gets tough for me because I'm going to have to go with these dramas. I'm going to have to go off a lot of just like public perception and go with like the crowd here because I'm looking down this list and there's so many shows that I have never seen. So that being said, who for my number 2 seed, you know what? I don't even know if it's on our yeah, it is on our list. I'm gonna go with The Wire, number 2 seed
Right on.
for the bracket here. Even though I've never watched it. So I'm losing tons of credibility, but I have looked at a fair number of like greatest shows of all time. And The Wire is always on there. So that's what I'm going there.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those shows that's talked about in that same tier level as like a Sopranos, because it's like a crime show and as a Breaking Bad. So I think like those three shows actually all kind of are like a sort of like different time and generation. Like Sopranos was like, what would you say, like mid '90s, late '90s? I could be wrong on that. I think that's when it
Yeah,
was.
that's
Wire was kind of
exactly
like
right.
mid 2000s, and then Breaking Bad
Hmm.
was kind of like the tens, the teens, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that progression, like those three are all like widely considered like the best like crime drama shows. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate you leaving Game of Thrones to me here for number 2. I think we both are comfortable with it. I'm gonna put Game of Thrones as 2. It doesn't get the one for its petering out towards the end of its season, end of its series, but I was not as disappointed with the ending as other people or like the endings,
Hmm.
because I think a lot of people just have an issue with how a lot of things wrapped up, not just one
Yeah.
thing. I think it's
Yeah.
more valid to be disappointed in all of the conclusions more so than just one. That's kind of like biased because your favorite character didn't win or something. But it's still, man, it's still a tremendous show, and some of those early seasons are just bonkers.
So bonkers. And I am not like after we wrapped up Game of Thrones, my wife Emily and I, she was like, "Well, if you like Game of Thrones, you might like, Lord of the Rings." And I tried to watch Lord of the Rings and I didn't dislike it, but for whatever reason, like that is typically that kind of like I don't know, would you call that like a fantasy
Oh yeah,
type show?
definitely. Yeah.
Those I mean, it's weird that sometimes like they'll really really catch on with me and I'll go all in and love them and then sometimes it just doesn't quite hit the same and I felt that with like Lord of the Rings. Like I can respect Lord of the Rings. I think like all of the just the Rotten Tomatoes ratings of Lord of the Rings and just the kind of how renowned it is. I respect that and I can't say I disagree with it. It's just not, my cup of joe, my cup of tea, my cup of
Cup of
coffee.
whatever you drink.
Cup of jizz. Anyways, um, I just try to sneak that by the algorithm, see if they can pick it up. Anywho, so we're back up. It's my pick for the number 2 seed in the Seinfeld region, and I'm gonna go with the winner of, because I did run Best TV Show. We ran it with some of our buddies on a much smaller scale, and this is the show that won it all. I'm going The Office for 2 seed in the Seinfeld
Oh.
region. Yeah. So you are up. You got the next 2 picks, my friend. You got the number 2 seed in the South Park region.
Yeah, right on. I was actually gonna take The Office because I didn't know, where you were going. I was like, I've seen enough of The Office, even though I haven't seen like all of it.
Yeah.
So man, a 2 seed for comedy. I'm trying to avoid a lot of recency bias, and
Mm,
then also personal bias, and try and pull in something. And um, so I know my pick, and I think
okay.
people won't take issue with it. Um, I will say, I this is not a show that really does it for me, but I understand if there's one show that's had more importance and legacy than South Park, which got our 1 seed, the answer is The
Mhm.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
Um, I for me, a Simpsons isn't even like a top 5 animated comedy show. I like a lot more. I would put any of my others, preferable ones above it in terms of what I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch, but, The Simpsons is just, like, one of the longest running shows, period, and everybody knows The Simpsons and
Mhm.
enjoys something from it. So I will have The Simpsons with a chance to meet up against South Park. I think it's only right that these 2 have a chance to meet up and that to go to the Final Four.
Right. Not that I'm looking to do this, but the way it's going so far, we could almost make this whole South Park region animated shows. Like if we had our say, but I'm not,
Right.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna like aim for that or anything. So
No, I won't either. All right, so at number 3 seed,
yeah, you got your
oh
3 seed.
man, over here. So, one thing that I think I wanna pick, although interestingly enough, we have, like, our crime show representatives, we have a big fantasy show like Game of Thrones, but, like, the other kind of serious show that's a bit genre is, like, sci-fi, and
Mhm.
obviously, like, Star Trek is the first probably show that comes to mind. You might be a Battlestar Galactica over, Star Trek person. My only concern is when talking about Star Trek, like, are we considering, like, all of its iterations, like Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek: The Next Generation, which had quite different casts?
Mhm.
Um, I guess the answer is yes. I don't know why not, because it's almost like you're that's my only concern about picking that. Like, are people gonna be like, "Well, you have to pick one of these runs." Are you picking, like, the cap like, Shatner Star Trek? Are you picking, Patrick Stewart Star Trek? Or are we saying this is all Star Trek?
I think we go all Star Trek, but I haven't watched much Star Trek, so
I think that's fair because then you are gonna get you're gonna get that boost from like people that definitely liked some of the captains and some of the not spin-offs but different iterations more. But you're also
mhm.
it's also gonna get docked from some people because they'll be like nothing was just as good as the Shatner one. So I think it's fair. It's gonna get the pros and cons of considering all Star Trek TV of all time.
Mhm.
Let's get Star Trek on there for
Cool.
a early sci-fi representative.
Okay, cool. Star Trek 3 seed right on. Alrighty, so I am looking at this big old list of TV shows, and there's a lot of shows that could make the claim, and I know one of them is in your top favorites. So I'm actually going to hold off on picking that one.
Is it now?
Um,
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go with a little bit of a safer choice here. Um, I was a big fan of Dexter, and I was a big fan of Squid Game. I think Squid Game is going to slip a little bit because it's only in its first
Yeah.
season. But I'll tell you what, no show has ever like imprinted on my brain more than that show. Like like I would like think about it all the time. It was just that unique.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go Boardwalk
There
Empire.
we go. Yeah.
Um, we got a good representation for kind of that like gangster type drama with The Wire, Sopranos, and Boardwalk Empire. I don't know how
Yeah,
much more I'm going to put down in terms of that type of show. I see a couple more, but anyways,
I see a couple more. Yeah.
yeah. So you're up. Number 3, comedy. Hey, comedy.
Number 3, comedy. Oh, that's awesome because I actually think I know my next 2 picks for comedy and for drama. So I'm gonna try and cut out time and just say Friends.
Friends. All right. Cool, cool. Friends is a 3 seed here in the Seinfeld region. Seems to be a perfect fit for that. So um, I am going to pull the trigger and mix up this region a little bit
Oh yeah.
because it was all animated, but I can't let Always Sunny slip any more than the number 3 seed. I just spent so much time watching Always Sunny, so we're gonna go ahead and slap it right there in the number 3 seed, and then mosey on up to this region. And I'm cool. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Dexter as my number 4 seed here in the Sopranos region.
Right on.
So cruise right through that one. So it's back on you, number 4 seed in the Breaking Bad region.
Yeah, I think so. I know my pick. It's another show that, like Sopranos, to a lesser extent, with like the true like ending scene where people were like, "I didn't like it," and like Game of Thrones, where it kind of tailed off, but everybody still considers it an amazing show. I think like this show was just wildly popular, still considered a really great show, but just sort of jumped the shark, to use TV lingo, which is where they had Arthur Fonzarelli literally jump a shark on a jet ski in Happy Days. And that's when people were like, this show lost its mind.
Mhm.
Little bit of tidbit. If you didn't know the origins of Jump the Shark, I'm going Lost.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Lost. Cool. So we are up in the Seinfeld region. We're going number 4 seed, and we still got a lot of classic shows to choose from. But I'm going a little personal bias here. I'm going Fresh Prince.
Okay. Right on.
Fresh Prince 4 seed seems fair. All right, you got back to back Pip. Some of these we didn't even need the full 30 seconds. Some of them were like
Yeah.
5 seconds. Got it, ready to go. Okay, so
Yeah.
number 4 seed in the South Park region.
For sure. I could give my pick sooner, but I want to justify it because I'm so worried people are going to be like, this idiot, what is he doing? And at least if I give an excuse, they'll be like, well, I disagree with him, but at least he knows he's an idiot. Um, so we are basically around the same age. So we have seen and been around for all of the same TV shows like prime runs. But that also means that a lot of TV shows that either happened much earlier before we were of that, target audience, or maybe more really, really recent shows that are still like just like we've aged out of, we might miss. And so I don't want to miss this one. This show is like, man, I feel like it's incredibly popular, and I don't know if I don't know if I could remember seeing a full episode, although I know for sure when I used to watch like Nick at Night, it would come on, but I would change it because I wasn't interested. But I'm going to put Cheers here. I think
Wait,
this is like a legendary, iconic show for people that were the target audience at that time. And I think if it got much lower, people would be like, you kind of messed this up.
yeah. No, that's a great pick. And I feel like some picks are going to be a little sacrificial for us, like me putting down, shows like ooh, like The Wire and Boardwalk Empire, shows that I didn't watch a whole lot of. But knowing that the shows that I have watched a lot of that I'm a huge fan of probably aren't quite as good. So
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, you're up the number 5 seed in
This is a
the
5. Oh, man.
Sopranos. We're cooking. We're cruising through.
I have 3 great choices, and they are all what I would call genre as opposed to like typical drama.
Mhm.
Um, they're all like either sort of sci-fi. I mean, they're all basically sci-fi. I know my personal favorite. I know the one that maybe had the highest peak popularity, then there's one that I think is the most influential. Oh my god, there's a fourth one. Ooh,
Oh boy.
All right, I
Oh
basically
boy.
know my next few drama picks. I'm just stuck in
I
like
think I
this bottom of the alphabet here. I am
yeah.
going for a 5. I'm actually going to call an audible, and I am going to put Twin Peaks because I think a 5 seed matches up so well with like like something that just is really good but didn't quite get popularity and is good because it's weird and different. And Twin Peaks is so weird and different, and a 5 seed is a perfect place for it. So I'm gonna put Twin Peaks there.
Nice. Well done.
And I have seen a good chunk of Twin Peaks. It got a little scary for me.
Mm.
Not actually, but there are some like very disturbing sequences and like flashing sequences that like really freaked me out. But
Huh.
I have seen like a good chunk of it, not all the way to the end, but it is a great and strange show. It's a trip.
Okay. Cool, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, we are live streaming. I just double checked on my separate account here. Yeah, we're live. We're cooking. Number 5 yeah, number 5 seed in the Breaking Bad region. I was torn between two, but I'm going to go ahead and go Sons of Anarchy for the
That was the
5
other.
seed and
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. Got a lot of requests for Sons in uh, just the polls we did on social media, and so many comedies could take the 5 seed here in the Seinfeld region. But I'm going to go a little personal bias. But
Wait,
I don't
is
know. I
this me
think.
or is this you?
Oh my gosh, I'm such a moron. I'm just trying to cobble up all these picks.
No.
Yeah, dude, this is totally you. My fault.
No, you're good.
I
It's
got a little
hard when
bit.
it's like because we're switching from drama to comedy. It seems like we're in that like 2 back-to-back pick stage.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna still avoid my own personal high choices and try and establish trust with the viewer who goes,
Okay.
"Okay, Matt, I can trust his picks. He's not gonna screw this over." I'm oh, I'm going to go another show though. No, I've got a couple choices. Neither of them have I've seen. And because
No.
I hate young people, and by young people I mean people my
Nice.
age who like
Excellent.
shows that I
Oh, hey, babe.
didn't care for, I'm gonna go
Hey.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Yeah, that's a weird choice. I don't know if I'm okay with it, but I'm gonna go Everybody Loves Raymond.
Okay. We're gonna have to expand that a little bit. Oh. Right. 5 seed, South Park region. I'm gonna go greatest sketch show of all time. Not Saturday Night Live. I'm going Chappelle Show.
Oh, okay. So we do got that sketch comedy representative, but we may still get 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, we slip in. We may slip in SNL. Who knows? Okay, 6 seed drama. Gonna go. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Alrighty, 6 seed drama region. I'm going Squid Game. I don't care.
No.
Had one season. Did you watch? Did you watch Squid Game?
I haven't seen it actually.
Okay. It was bonkers.
Yeah. And I
6
was about
seed.
yeah, I was about to try to establish myself as like your fantasy sci-fi guy, and then you took Squid Game. I wasn't gonna pick that one, but I think the majority of my drama picks for the next few are gonna focus on stuff that is a bit more genre. Again, like
Cool.
something sci-fi, something fantasy, something sort of post-apocalyptic or things like that. I'm going to throw in personally. I think this is a good seed for it. It might have even slipped a bit lower, but I think it had its heyday, and people don't really go back to it because it's got a lot of episodes. But for me, this is one of my 3 favorite, I guess, drama TV shows of all time. I watched it years after it aired and after its heyday, but it was every bit as good as like some of the other popular shows that I was also watching at the same time, with just like a lot of unpredictability. I'm gonna put X-Files as my number 6.
All right.
I think it's amazing. It's some of the best TV moments I've seen.
Yeah. That's awesome. I remember it was always on like before Raw, so I'd catch some of it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, 6 in the Seinfeld. Okay, it's been a second since I've stopped. Ooh, there's a lot of shows that I can't let slip any further. Um, this seems like a good spot for it. I'm gonna go Curb.
Right on.
Enthusiasm. Hard word to spell. Is that? Did I?
I can take a peek.
I think that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Right?
looks good to me.
Cool. Seems like it's got to be in the Seinfeld region.
Oh yeah.
Larry
For
David.
sure.
So
All right, comedy and that. So I'm the back to backs. Comedy is starting to get tough for me.
mhm.
So I'm gonna have this is where I turn on the Matt bias and throw in some extra picks, and that means that some of these probably classic shows are gonna get left out, and I might go one more safe pick
And then we'll really
because
flip it on its head.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go one more safe pick. I have not seen a lot of this show, but this is one that's even predates Cheers, but I think is a so there are I'll try and be really quick here. There are a couple of shows that are considered comedy shows, but do drama really well and are set in like a very serious setting. And the
Mhm.
one I'm picking here that I think is a very like memorable and iconic show because it was set at a very serious um, background setting, but was funny, but also dealt with serious stuff is MASH.
Oh, okay.
And I know somebody that like their favorite TV show, they're like in the same age as me, and they think like MASH is like the best TV show of all time. And
Mm.
Alan Alda's character is like one of the better performances, and I think that one has to make it. So I'm getting that respect and that trust, and then I'm gonna go completely off the rails with my next few picks.
I cannot wait, and I'm so glad he took MASH because I think when we put up those things and asked people that I saw so many MASHes, and
Yeah,
it's a show that I've never personally seen, but I know it's a classic, and yeah.
yeah,
Alrighty, number
right on. Which, speaking of going way off the deep end,
can't wait.
we're on sevens, right?
Yeah, 7 in the, we're in the Sopranos region.
Okay. This talked about this a little bit, and this might be debatable. I am. I mean, if MASH is a comedy, then this other one might be a comedy. Um, I'll come back here at 10 and ask about it. So I'll pick something else for 7. I am going to pick Twilight Zone.
Cool. I think that gives us some cred.
Yeah. I love Twilight Zone. It is another one of my personal favorite shows. It's, I guess, probably one of our only shows that's a bit more of like an anthology show where like
Mhm,
it's all just kind of one-off separate stuff.
mhm.
But it really wrote the book and wrote the script for a lot of the kind of quick plot twist, surprising like short episodes you've seen before. They're all phenomenal, and they have some of the
Mhm.
most like recognizable and probably most parodied like twists and things by other shows later on that take their own spin on it. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay. So I got my next drama here in the Breaking Bad realm. I see a couple of shows that I've loved so much, but it seems a little unfair to pull the trigger on them now.
Pull it.
You think I should pull it?
I think what's the worst that could happen? I don't see any shows on here that like 100% have to be on here. I don't think, unless we're trying. Like the only thing I'm thinking in like dramas is I don't know if we have a lot of ones that are like before our time, beyond
Mhm.
Twilight Zone, I guess, for their highest point. So I don't know if
Yeah.
there are any like old school shows we're missing. That'd be
Hmm.
my only thought. But I've only got like one more drama I need to get on here, so
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can I can use my picks for that.
Okay. I could save one for a little bit. But right now I'm gonna go Ozark.
I think that's a good one
Yeah.
for this.
It was fantastic. People who, a little more old school, they might give us a little bit of pushback, but going Ozark.
My parents watch that show. They don't watch a lot of TV shows and like sit like it was kind of as they were starting to be like, okay, we'll do streaming finally. And that was the show that they watched and got into, and they both watched all of it and liked it and would talk about it with my brothers, but not me because I didn't watch it. So it gets respect from the old heads. Shout out to the old heads, mom and dad.
Yeah. Oh, Dad, awesome. Okay, cool, cool. We got number 7 seed in the Seinfeld.
Number 7 in the Seinfeld. All right. If this was number 7 in South Park, I would pick this one here, but I could still pick it and switch it up. Are there any other comedies that I'm like, you better get this one in, Matt. You better get this one in. Um, yeah, I mean, this one is debatably my favorite show of all time. I'm gonna put Futurama here.
Sweet.
I won't put it as a 8 or a 9 to go up against South Park. Let's have it as a 7 and see what it does against maybe a live action in the next round.
Cool. I like that. Alrighty, so I have another hey hey comedy. You went with animated. I'm gonna stick with animated. Lucky there's a Family Guy. We
Ooh,
might
Family
just
Guy,
see.
Simpsons. That might be a little finagling, but I don't mind it.
I, if I've watched a lot of Family Guy,
Same.
and I loved the South Park episode where they just ripped them a new one,
Yep.
but I still like Family Guy. Like, I get what Matt and Trey were saying when they were like, "Oh, it's just cheap comedy." It's just like maybe a little
Walruses are
bit.
just pushing two disparate ideas together and they're making a joke out of it. You think that's bad? What about the time X person did Y thing? And it's just like a Mad Lib joke.
Yes, yes, and I get what they were saying.
Yeah.
But I still like it. So,
Same here. Absolutely.
um, okay, so we're moseying on over to back to the Sopranos region, and okay, we're going 8 seed.
We're only
And what
like
I'm gonna
halfway through this. So like we don't like I know we're a little bit worried about missing shows, but we've got another 16 for each of these
right.
drama and comedies. So like I think we're getting good representation here and got a chance if we missed any to still rectify it with a decent enough seed.
I think so too. And for here, I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
Oh, right on.
Uh, Danny, I always get Donald Glover, Childish Gambino show.
Right.
Freaking awesome. So, you are up with your 8 seed Breaking Bad.
Yeah, in the Breaking Bad. What are my dramas here? All right. There's one drama that I watched that I liked, but I don't think is as good, but it was really popular. There's another that I really liked that I think I can let slide because it's a bit of a personal bias. So I'm gonna try and maybe get in a show that maybe might not make it otherwise. Oh, you know what? I am going. This seems so rude but it's gotta be here at some point. You gotta beat a tough matchup in a second round to go on. I'm going to put a show. I have seen episodes of this. I'm going to get Grey's Anatomy on here as an 8. It was
Okay.
wildly popular. I am going to take it over ER. That might be our only medical show that kind of makes it then. There might be one other one along with ER. I guess what are our medical shows? Grey's, ER, and House.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Grey's maybe the worst of the 3, but I think it was the most widely mainstream and popular, and it will
Mhm.
have fans just as much as the other 2. So
Yeah. And it's still cooking, right?
it is. I think they did finally confirm it's going to end though, or maybe just the
Ooh.
one one of the main actresses is finally leaving the show. One of those two.
Yeah. Okay. I think I know my pick. And this is a show that I haven't really watched.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get, I'm gonna try to get the people back on my side.
Did we get
Um,
two dramas there?
did we? I don't know. Sorry, I'm
Oh, 8 Grey's Anatomy. What was your 8? I
my
forgot.
8. Sorry, my 8 was
Atlanta. Oh
Atlanta.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's my bad.
yeah. No, not at all. I was slightly distracted looking at this list.
Yeah.
Cool. So my number 8 pick. I keep saying I'm gonna just go in a totally different direction, but I've had a lot of specific requests for 2 shows, so
Okay.
I'm gonna plop those in here now. First one, Parks and Rec.
Okay. This is an interesting show to be higher than maybe its companion show, potentially, in
What's
my
its
mind.
what's its companion show? I
I
always
consider 30 Rock its companion show because it's the Tina
okay.
Fey, Amy Poehler
Okay. Oh yeah,
shows.
30 Rock. Okay. It's all right. I got more Parks and Rec requests than I got 30 Rocks. So I always kind of
Fair
thought of
enough.
Parks and Rec as like a companion show with The Office a little bit, just because was that like isn't it kind of filmed like mockumentary style a little bit?
Yes, and I think that's totally fair. I think I placed them together because I think it was like from the creators of 30 Rock, like Parks and Rec. It was like if you like 30 Rock, we have like the same kind of like casting choices of like
Hmm.
SNL people and then other people. But I do think like stylistically when you're watching it, it's more similar to The Office. It's a good
Hmm.
it's a good comparison.
Cool. For
Oh
sure. All right,
boy.
you get some back to backs. This is our last 8, so we're gonna start seeing some matchups here, and this is where it gets really exciting, in my opinion.
Yeah, some back-to-backs. I'm gonna let's see. So I know I'm not gonna pick like one of my own personal favorite shows, but there are a lot of really I might try to pick like a clean comedy show that could maybe go up against South Park to be like, where do we fall on like where do people vote for on like a clean
Ooh,
comedy versus like a really like dirty comedy? But I don't know. I don't know a lot of clean comedy shows.
you'll have to go Cosby. You'll have to go Cosby Show, the cleanest of all clean.
The cleanest of all. You know what? I am going to pick. I think this is a clean comedy. I think this is a very popular comedy. I think it's like a maybe considered slightly boring. Oh, you know what? No. I've got it. Golden Girls.
Okay,
If
okay.
we can get the 4 gals versus the 4 boys in
Oh,
round
there you
2,
go.
come on.
I like that.
And
There we
Golden
go.
Girls, I think, is deserving of a very high seed. I kind of pulled
Mhm.
in some other older, like, very important comedies like Cheers and MASH. They're all falling in
Yeah.
this category. There they all
Mhm.
are. But I think Golden Girls is equally as recognizable and as influential as those other 2. So I feel good about doing my job to get in those old comedies.
Right on.
Nobody can complain about any of my other picks. Which,
Yep.
which, speaking of, it is my turn again for drama.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Let's crank up the volume here and just go
The
all out.
Yeah, the back half. See, now that I know the matchup it's getting, it makes me nervous to put a show I
Mhm.
like because then I'm like, I want it to win, so I'm gonna try and put it against them. No. um, all right. Ooh, E. I'm gonna I like Atlanta, and I personally actually want it to win.
Okay.
Um, there is one show that fell a bit lower that I think we have to get on here, but I feel like I feel like it's gonna get underseeded, so I might try to finagle it for one that people wouldn't be too disappointed at Lost on. Like, I just don't think this would be a fair
Mhm.
matchup. I think this would be fair. This is a show that I avoided a couple times because I was like, I don't actually think it's that good. But
Mhm.
it is widely popular. I'm gonna go Walking Dead and get our zombie
Okay.
movie on here. Zombie movie, zombie show, our zombie
Walking
representation.
Dead. Perfect.
Zombie is
All
a
right, I
literal
like it.
genre.
Okay, Atlanta versus Walking Dead. That is our first confirmed first round
First
matchup.
confirmed matchup. Yeah.
That's a wild one. And for second one, I can think of no better place to put a show against your Grey's Anatomy than Better Call Saul.
Oh.
So
That's fun.
that's gonna be a banger of a first up, and the winner will go on to face. I mean, likely Breaking Bad, unless there's a show we've been forgetting about this whole time that just happens to sneak in there against Breaking Bad. But yeah, I'm going Better Call Saul.
All right.
Alrighty, so you're up. What's our first comedy matchup of the first round?
Ooh, against Parks and Rec. Like I said, oh I've got one more comedy I got to get on here. I guess it did drop a little lower than I would have wanted it to. Need to remember this, but yeah, you know what? Let's do it. I consider these shows weird companion shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to put 30 Rock on here.
Okay, I like that a lot.
Did I end up picking Frasier?
No, Frasier has not been.
Oh, yeah, that
Frasier.
was what I was gonna do, but I did Golden Girls instead. Okay, don't need to cross off Frasier.
Okay. Alrighty. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the crowd pleaser here. It's a show that I actually didn't watch. I'm a little embarrassed to say, but this will probably be the last crowd pleaser before I go with like start popping in my personal favorites. Again, this. I mean, what's more perfect against Golden Girls than Boy Meets World?
Other Boys. Yeah, Boy Meets World.
Other
That's a
boys.
great show.
Boys meet other boys. Hey, hey. Cool.
That's one of those shows that for me, like, it is comedy,
Yeah.
but it dealt with so many serious topics. Like, yeah, and that's one of the weird things about comedy shows. Sometimes they do like those like heartwarming and tear jerking moments better than a drama. You can watch a full series of a drama show, never gets you to cry once. But a really good comedy, when they switch to it and you're not ready for it, can hit you with it once every season or two, and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. Okay, so what are we on? 10?
Big Ten.
Big 10 against Twilight Zone. All right. You know what show I really like that I'm just going to go ahead and pull the trigger?
Go for it. Pull it. What is it?
Gosh, I come in all like confident, like I'm going to just world, but I'm going to go Power.
Oh, okay.
It's a 50,
Right on.
50 Cent. Yeah. It's a good show. I know that's another one where like people will probably question like, are you in the whole Power universe? Like just like Star Trek? Because there were like I think 2 or 3 spin-offs of Power, but I'll
Oh.
let people decide for themselves. And I don't think it's gonna have much of a chance against Twilight Zone. I think that's one where like unless you're like a huge Power fan, if you're like kind of don't know if you haven't really watched either of them, you're just gonna default to Twilight Zone.
Yeah, more recognizable, yeah. All right, what
Yeah.
is the 7 here?
So Ozark.
Ozark, okay. I have this was the show that I think slipped lower, but I could be wrong in my interpretation, and I only have, for my own personal needs, 3 more dramas to get on here. Actually, 4, but I'm running out of space. But I'm comfortable with them all being very low. I'm going to throw West Wing on here.
Okay. 1 second. Okay, so Ozark is going up against West Wing, and
I anticipate that this one, as popular as Ozark is right now, I think this was why I was worried about West Wing, and I didn't want to put it as a 9 to like screw over Atlanta. I think West Wing's older crowd and older generation who grew up with it and watched it in its prime, I think this is going to be a show that even could beat out Game of Thrones in the next round. I could be completely off on my West Wing, but that is my guess.
How for your West Wing? Okay, hold on.
Did you mute? Yes, I can hear you slightly.
Okay, how about can you still hear me now?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Is it much worse than when I had the headphones on?
Not much. It's slightly quieter, but mostly, I mean, I can hear everything clearly.
Okay, cool. So I think I'm gonna do the rest of this without this headset. And the number 10 seed of the Seinfeld region, we have a special guest pick. Emily, Yeah, see, I do. I'm going to give my 10 seed pick against Futurama to my lovely wife Emily, and it is up to her to decide what's going against Futurama.
Does it have to be animated? Hi, Matt.
It does not have to be animated. It just
Hello.
has to be from this comedy. Hey, comedy region.
Oh, darn. So wait, these things in your other ones, they didn't make it?
No. These are the dramas that are on the left side.
Yeah.
These are the comedies that are on the right side. So
I
we can take
understand.
anything from this list and put it right there in that space against the show Futurama.
I'm torn between New Girl and Girls. Both were really good, but truth be told, I don't think Girls is a comedy. I think Girls should be over in drama. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say New Girl.
New Girl. All right.
New Girl, right
Sweet.
on.
So Futurama is going to go up against New Girl. And then we're mosey on down to 10th seed. What's going against Family Guy? I actually, Matt, sorry to cut you off. I just saw a show on here that I cannot believe we let slip so far. And it's 100% going to be my next comedy choice.
Okay.
But you're up.
Maybe I'll accidentally pick it.
I think you might. But yeah, I'm going to pop the...
Cause man, I'm against Family Guy. Oh, okay. I think this is the choice. It's not my preferred next show. If I were ranking them, I wouldn't have it here. But I think it's a good matchup for Family Guy. I think in a lot of ways, Family Guy took influence and inspiration from this show and then just made like the comedy their own. But it's kind of that same, I guess it's not that same setup at all. It's a completely different family. I'm going to put Full House versus Family Guy.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go Family Matters against.
I looked at
Family.
that too, but I think Full House is probably the better or more widely, highly appraised comedy there.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Oh, cool. So we are chugging right along. We got the 11th seed. What's going to go up against Squid Game? Do you know what Squid Game's about? Or did you at least watch the Mr. Beast YouTube video?
I know what it's about.
Okay.
Let me see. Man, so this is where it gets tough because I don't want to pick something against something you really like and be like, oh, Matt's just trying to get my show out.
No. I think that makes it more entertaining. Go ahead. Whatever you think is going to knock out Squid Game.
I don't necessarily think it's going to knock it out, but but this has been a controversial pick I've been hanging on to for a while. And had I felt comfortable with its genre, I would have put it in a lot sooner because it is, along with some of the other shows I mentioned, quite honestly, one like my favorite show of all time, and what I think is one of the objectively best written shows, period.
Okay.
I will throw it out there. You can let me know if you think this should remain in comedy, but I was going to put BoJack Horseman here.
Okay.
I technically think it's more of a drama in the way that Emily felt Girls was a drama. But I mean, let me pull it up really quick. I'm gonna look up BoJack Horseman and see if it's primarily listed as like a comedy or a drama. It's listed as comedy. Comedy 6 seasons. So I take that back. I will not put BoJack here. I'm gonna put another trippy show here. This one is a personal pick of mine. It didn't get brought up, I don't think, by anybody, but it's a show I really like. And I think this will be a good matchup because they're both recent shows. I'm gonna go Mr. Robot. Oh, I choked there. I'm gonna go Mr. Robot here.
Alrighty, perfect. So you got Mr. Robot going up against Squid Game. I am going to put Mad Men up against X-Files.
Ooh.
And Mad Men is the one that I've seen on so many, like Rolling Stone, I think, had it in their top 5 of all time, or at least top 10. So I don't want to slip anymore. I don't want to get too much flack here. I want to, But anyways, so we're going up, and I don't know if it's safe to assume, but we are in the 11th. So what's going on? I didn't know if you wanted to do both BoJack here, or if you had a different pick.
Yeah, let's go BoJack here.
BoJack. Sweet. Well, show I only watched like a little bit of the first season. I loved it.
It doesn't start hitting really hard until about midway through the second. And I think the creator, either they did that intentionally, or he knew that's just how it kind of was planned, because it comes off, it came out still kind of about like 10 or so years ago, if not maybe a little bit more, the first season.
Mhm.
And it came out kind of on the shoulders of like, oh yeah, Family Guy, American Dad, all these Seth MacFarlane animated shows are getting popular, and yeah, there's a good space for adult animation. And it was kind of in that second wave after Seth MacFarlane's shows took off. And it's like, you don't just have to be South Park or The Simpsons, you can do adult animation. And so a lot of people thought it was going to be that same kind of lowbrow stuff, lowest hanging fruit for comedy, but it is incredibly topical. I honestly think it is one of the best shows, period. I would put it as like my number one over almost anything.
Oh, damn. Already. Well, you sold me on BoJack like you did on Joaquin and Best Actor.
He didn't fare too well.
That's all right. He's not gonna. I don't think BoJack's gonna go up against any Clint Eastwoods.
Another old guy, Larry David.
Yeah, there you go. Sweet. So I got mine, and this was the one I mentioned a moment ago, and I hate to put it up against MASH because I don't know that this is a great match. I cannot let you further than 11.
That's a great matchup, though.
Loved it. Yeah, Jackass match. Mash Jackass. Mash ass. Yeah. And then I got my next one too. This is the one where I think my relative inexperience with a lot of these shows is going to start and through. But my 12, I just absolutely love this show. You.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a good matchup against Twin Peaks because Twin Peaks. I get Twin Peaks mixed up with Peaky Blinders.
Oh,
Twin Peaks is still new and still cooking.
No, Twin Peaks is pretty old, but they did.
Okay.
I thought they did something actually fairly recent with it, but maybe not.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going on you, and then we're gonna bring it on down to the Braid region.
Twin Peaks, you is like stalkerish, right?
Yeah, it is.
Twin Peaks does have like some stalkerish abduction, freaky, disturbed guy vibes. So I think there's relation there.
Okay, cool.
Sons of Anarchy drama. What are the dramas I'm missing or lacking here? I mean, the classic in college basketball, you get like the 5-12s, and like this is where the most upsets historically happen. And I'm not going to intentionally pick for an upset, but I mentioned this to you as trying to get one representative from this sort of style. And it is a really good show. I have watched it at the at its popularity and recommendations from all the people that say if there's one or two of an anime that you're going to watch, this is like one of the OG really great ones. I'm going to put Death Note here.
Okay.
And anime, I don't know if a lot of our viewers based on like the polls and brackets we've run so far are into like anime. It might get crushed because we just might not have that fan base, but anime fan base is deep. And I think it's like one of those like shadow fan bases that you don't know how popular it is until like you have a poll and my God, just like the weirdest things start winning and get huge numbers.
Yeah.
If the right people see this, Death Note is definitely capable of pulling an upset.
Okay.
Just warning you.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we haven't done anything anime, and it's not a genre I'm particularly familiar with. But
I'm not the biggest fan either. But Death Note was really stellar.
Sweet. Yeah, it's got a huge following. So, gosh, here's where it gets so tough because I want to include all these shows. I think a good matchup for Everybody Loves Raymond. All right, here's a show I'm going to put down. I keep saying I'm done with the crowd pleasing, but I can't let this one slip any further without getting like just barbecued. Um, I gotta go Dick Van Dyke
Okay.
instead
I
of my
think this
Rose
is a good
Raymond.
matchup because if anything, I think, like we said, this is a crowd pleaser and an era that we might be missing, and an incredibly
Mhm.
influential show. And I think maybe I accidentally panicked and put Raymond too high. I don't know. I really don't know. It's like reception still and how people feel about it. I remember it was massively
Mhm.
popular at the time. Like Seinfeld and
Yeah,
Raymond were like the two most popular comedies, and like Friends, those like three. And I panicked and I threw it on there. It might be seated too high. So maybe having Dick Van Dyke move too low and not giving it the respect is due is a good matchup for those two.
for sure, for sure. Because I mean, Dick Van Dyke's got to be on there. I'm just looking at this list, and there's so many shows that like Three's Company, The Wonder Years, like a lot of these
Yeah.
shows are little Happy Days. A lot of these shows are a little before my time,
Mhm.
so they're not jumping out at me. But we're doing our best. That's all we can ask. So, it's on you. Number 12 seed to go against Chappelle Show.
Yeah. This is hard. I love Chappelle Show. So I don't want to put up. I only have one more comedy that I want to get on here.
Okay.
I don't want to put it up here because it'll lose.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna probably hold off. And I also love Chappelle's Show, but I would actually
Hmm.
want the show that I'm holding off on to win. But I don't
Hmm.
think anybody would complain if it didn't even make the bracket. So it doesn't need to be this
Hmm.
high. So where I'm at is, do I pick a show that might not get on here otherwise because our tastes don't align, but feed it to Chappelle's Show, which I think our current audience is gonna have win over most things? Or do I give
Hmm.
it a bit more of an intriguing matchup where we might have it be close? I am leaning towards the intriguing matchup.
Okay.
And so, what better thing to match sketch comedy up against than sketch comedy? And we'll see if a really laser focused show like Chappelle's Show sketch comedy, which is kind of a few people manning it, is better than the
Mm.
long running institution, which has its ebbs and flows of Saturday
Mm.
Night Live.
Ooh, okay. Saturday Night Live could be a sleeper. That could, I mean, people have fond memories of whatever like era um they
It's
could think of, and it's like
It's the Tom Hanks of TV shows because Tom
kind of
Hanks
is.
recently, Tom Hanks done very well, and he may be our best actor. He's up against De Niro, but
Mhm.
Tom Hanks, like we said before, like he's got something for everybody. You've seen him in
Mhm.
one thing that you really like, and I think SNL. There's seasons where you hated it and didn't watch, but you had some performers and sketches that you just remember so well.
Yeah,
All right, it's me, number 13,
it's on
against
you.
Dexter. What are my dramas that I still want to get on here? I've done Mr. Robot. X-Files is on here. I also got to throw in Death Note. I've only got one more. I've only got one more. And I did put Walking Dead on here. Like I said, I was going to be the genre guy. I think this is
Mhm.
honestly too high for this. Um, let's get it on here now. Whatever. It's too high for it, and it's probably going to knock something out that deserves, if not a better seed, to be on here. I'm going to say Westworld.
Okay.
I really like it. The first season is definitely one of the better seasons, bar none. And I think a lot of people that have watched it feel that way of television. Everything after is either really good still, but not legendary status, or pretty bad. So
Mhm.
we'll let the people decide, is one amazing, incredible season and then not being good the rest of the time good enough to beat another highly regarded show. So we'll see how Westworld does.
Cool. I got mine all locked and loaded. You know, another crowd pleaser. MacGyver.
MacGyver. Nice.
Is this G is
GYVER. You
VE?
almost typed in
Is it a
MacGruber there.
oh, oh, that's such a good shit. Did you watch the MacGruber series?
No, I only saw like a couple of the sketches. I didn't see the movie. Uh, but yeah.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Is it a capital G? It doesn't really matter. Whatever. Okay. 13. Best TV shows up against Fresh Prince.
All right, I'll do it. I will put my one comedy show that I really wanted here. It is my favorite live action comedy show. It is Psych. I love
Psych.
Psych.
Their knee at the end?
It is like a comfort show. It's so feel good and it's really funny. I love it.
Okay, sweet. Did I say PS?
You did. You got it.
Okay, sweet. Alrighty, 13. What do we got? It's going up against Cheers. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I love losing.
Ooh, right on.
Yep. Gotta get that credibility here. We'll see a good representation of our voters because
this region. If we have time to pause really quick, this region of the comedy side is really interesting because it starts with South Park and Simpsons on this collision course to determine like animated show. But there's all of these like really classic shows in the middle that we might be overlooking and might take out like these obvious favorites like South Park and The Simpsons.
Right.
We'll see. Who's our 3 and 4 here? Always Sunny, which we both love, and Cheers. Yeah, this one's gonna play out there, and it's got the sketch comedy shows. This is a dangerous region. I have no clue how to predict it.
No.
I know you're going to be bummed because I think this is a rough draw for South Park because it's going to have to beat so many different styles of comedy show.
I know. Come on, Matt and Trey, you can do it. Okay, cool. So what do we got here?
So you're moving on and picking our 14s in drama, Johnny Drama.
Alrighty.
Sorry,
I could do that. Speaking of Johnny Drama, that's a show that hasn't made an appearance
yet.
It
is not.
Okay. I know a lot of people that really, really love this show. I'm gonna go Succession.
Okay.
Of blabber about this show, and I mean I think that's a good first round matchup for it. Alrighty, so you got a show to go against Boardwalk Empire. As much as I loved it, you don't hear it talked about enough for it to make a if it squeaks by this first round, I think it's going to get taken out X-Files and Mad Men, but we'll see.
Yeah, it maybe didn't have a lot of seasons, or like only 3 maybe? Am I wrong on that? Did I freeze? Did you freeze? Oh no, I will try to rejoin, even though I'm confident my internet is working well. I got a wired connection, but I'll refresh really quick.
Okay.
I'm here.
You with me?
Here. Let's do this.
Okay. Yeah, we snowstorm or just poor internet connection. So
this is who goes.
I'll go back to Sharon, or am I sharing right now?
You are sharing.
Perfect.
You're Sharon and you're Karen. Man, I've got a few choices.
Sharon and Karen.
2 of them are on this list, and I think one is one we didn't write down, but it's a weird one, so maybe it shouldn't make it at all. Maybe it's not like a fair thing to make because it's almost like Star Trek, in that it has so many spin-offs, but it's all part of like the same brand, and I might not pick it to avoid that kerfuffle and debacle.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to go one more genre pick. I don't know if this is too low. I don't know if this shouldn't make it at all. But I think we don't have this genre, and it's not a genre done on TV often. It's horror. So I'm going to put American Horror Story here.
Oh, sweet.
And it is also kind of a weird one with like different anthology seasons. So even though I said I wasn't going to do it with Law and Order, I did do it with American Horror Story.
He did it. I love it. Nicely done. Okay. Let's give Friends as tough of a matchup in the first round as possible. because Friends is pretty polarizing. A lot of people love it, but I think we can book it to maybe cause an upset here. And I'm looking. Ooh, I got it. I th-
I
mm,
don't know what he's going for.
mm, because I. All right, I'm gonna do it. Going Freaks and Geeks.
Oh wow.
I think it's a little too niche to take down a show like Friends, but
Yeah.
the ones that vote for Freaks and Geeks, I think we're gonna be like, Friends sucked, Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that, and you are up.
14?
Oh, dude, I think. All right,
Oh, up against Always Sunny. Okay.
yeah.
I was looking at a few and I'm trying to think. There's a few we've each only got I've only got 3, wait, 14, 15. I've only got 3 left for comedy.
Okay.
And you've just
Mhm.
got 2. So we've got 5 more comedies on here. There are some that I'm worried need to be on here, but again, because of our own preferences, are going to miss out because we
Mhm.
are adult males.
Yeah.
There are some that I think are gonna miss out, but I think is a higher quality comedy objectively.
Mhm.
And then there are some, yeah. So, and then there's one that I think is a genre of comedy or is a style that we don't have, and again is not very often seen on TV that I'm gonna put in here.
Okay.
It's gonna be a weird matchup. I know we'll both be really sad if Always Sunny loses to this one. I don't think it
Mhm.
has a great chance, but you never know. I'm going to put Glee on here.
Okay. I think that's fair. I was pulling for Always Sunny versus Workaholics in the first round.
I don't want to
um,
do that to either of those shows, but I want
I
Glee
know.
on here because there's nothing else that's like a musical
Yeah.
it's kind of like a younger people are the
Mhm.
focal points of the cast, and there's not a lot of like that
Mhm.
high school age um shows that we have for people. Although Freaks and Geeks is set like high school age, right?
Freaks and Geeks is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the number 15 for drama is
Mhm.
me, correct?
Yep. 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 Yep.
Who's its matchup against? The Wire. All right.
The Wire.
What do we got? What do we got? What do we got to go against The Wire?
Show me what you're working with.
Let's go with let's go with 24.
Okay.
I think
It
they're
seems right
a
on par.
similar style of show, and one was more mainstream and one was more critically acclaimed. So
Mhm.
this will be a good test of if popularity sometimes wins out over maybe overall quality. Not to say
Right.
that 24 isn't good quality, but that was just like because it aired on like CBS in a prime time versus
Mhm.
The Wire, which was HBO probably. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think The Wire is HBO. I'm gonna switch over. It might glitch for a second, but I got 2 Wi-Fi.
I'll hang out. I'll hold it down. Anyway, Chris's next pick is going to be for who's going up against Game of Thrones.
You back?
I'm back. I'm here.
Okay.
I was just letting everybody know this is who goes up against Game of Thrones, Chris. Do you have somebody that can take it down still
Hmm.
if people hate it that much?
Yeah, I think there's a few options that could go here.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
but I am gonna go Yellowstone.
Oh, that's
Lot
an
of it's a
interesting
little more
one.
modern. I think
It's very modern.
even as objective as we tried to be, I think, I don't want to give anything away, but I think when we reveal this and we start doing matchups, I think we're going to get some people being like, where's Honeymooners? Where's Columbo? Where's Knight Rider? These kind of shows that just like, we're getting as much on. I mean, TV has been pumping out shows since the 50s, and it's like we only have 64 options, and some of it is going to be leaned towards our demographic, which is like
Cool
you said, 30.
people.
Right, cool people that know what they're doing, know what they're talking about. I mean, we talk about it till we're ad nauseum, but like with athletes getting better, so is entertainment. So
yeah,
like I tried to go back. Like I know we made that commitment where we're each going to watch 3 from our final 4. We're each going to watch 3 movies. I went back. I'm working my way through Taxi Driver right now, and like I respect the film style for the time, but like I just don't have the patience to sit there through like a 30-minute zoom in on a glass of sparkling water. Like, what are you trying to tell me, Scorsese? Like, I think you're just killing time. like really, I don't need you. I just what's coming next? This happened, but this happened. This happened, therefore this happened. Like, keep the story plugging along. It's 2023.
Right.
I don't have time to sit through 2-minute artsy shots for the sake of artsy shots.
Fair enough.
Scorsese's overrated. I hate him.
Okay.
And we just lost all 0 people that were tuning in. Anyways, okay. You're up, my friend. Office.
Whoever is here probably gets fed to The Office. So I don't know if I put something that probably won't make it otherwise, but maybe should. Or I put something that I think will have 2 divisive fan bases. Let me tell you who I'm thinking of right now.
Okay.
The only thing that has fallen this far, maybe not the only thing, but one of the only things I see that's fallen this far that probably has the same popularity, whether or not it's as high quality, is Big Bang Theory. I think Office and Big Bang Theory both are very popular, but both have a lot of big time haters. So that might actually be a chance to have a close matchup. However, if I pick that one, we've got 4 more total comedies, and I feel like shows like Arrested Development is like a cult comedy classic.
Oh my God.
Schitt's Creek is incredibly popular right now. Sex and the City is something that I think we'll miss. I think those should be on there, and then maybe we're missing something else. But I don't want to feed like a good show like Arrested Development or Sex and the City to Office. I think it needs to go against another popular thing in the first round to give it an actual challenge. So I guess it could either be Big Bang Theory or How I Met Your Mother. I do prefer Big Bang Theory over Him Yim, as the youth call it. I will pick Big Bang Theory here.
Okay.
You seem distraught over Arrested Development.
Oh man, I can't believe, because I'm looking at this list and I had it scrolled down a little bit so I could see the bottom, but I forgot about the top. It's an A. Okay.
Are we on 16s?
Nope. I got my last 15 and then we're on 16s.
Oh God, I was panicking. I'm on 16s.
Okay, so good Lord. There's just gonna be some shows that don't make it, and that sucks, but what are you gonna do? My God. I mean, a show like, so here's, I can narrow it down to like 10. So
no, comedy was getting way harder for me too. I don't know if you're feeling the same way.
So hard. And I'm narrowing it down to these ones by leaving a bunch off. So like Arrested Development, Nathan For You, Louie, Ali G Show, Entourage. I loved Home Improvement, but it's not going to make it on this list. I love Step by Step, but it's not going to make it on the list. Cosby Show, Veep. That's a show that wins Emmys every single year. We're not even going to have it on here. So you know what? I'm going for it. I'm going Workaholics.
Get those bias picks on there. There you go.
Yeah, man. If I got to feed it to The Simpsons, I got to feed it to The Simpsons. But like Workaholics is, out of all the shows on here, aside from maybe South Park and Chappelle Show, I've laughed more watching Workaholics than like any of the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so my we're
This
we're
is
about
it.
done.
These are our last two dramas.
Mhm.
If you are if you are watching this and there's any way to get in contact with us because you are panicking and like you F this up, please do. I think our
Yeah,
dramas
yeah,
are
yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Um, okay. So I'm gonna go going House of Cards.
Okay. I appreciate that, although it did make it tougher for me. I was leaning towards taking that one.
Okay. All right.
But that's
It's
fine.
all right. What are we feeding to Breaking Bad?
What are we feeding to Breaking Bad? Man, there were a lot of there's actually I don't think there's a couple shows I thought of and I'm like, I think those would be comedies. Like I think
Mhm.
A-Team is a comedy. But I'm surprised that didn't get mentioned at all, maybe, or mentioned more because it's a
Yeah.
very because I also see like Knight Rider on here, but I feel like Knight Rider is potentially a comedy, but I don't it might have been like a weird semi sci-fi drama.
Yeah.
I but I think all right. There is trying to get an older show on here.
Mm-hmm.
There is trying to get a good competitor for Breaking Bad. And then there's trying to get a show that I think would slip through our radar for our own interests.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at True Detective for a good Breaking Bad matchup. I'm looking at Orange is the New Black for I think a show that would slip our own personal interests.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm looking, I don't know the other shows. What did I say? And then I'm looking, I don't know, the ER, Dukes of
Mhm.
Hazzard or something for a show that maybe we're missing out on and that needs its representation. I am going to choose though. Oh man, True Detective is just as well received as Orange is the New Black, probably more so. But I think Orange is the New Black has that perfect sweet spot of popularity and success. I'm going to pick Orange is the New Black. It was
Okay.
in using wrestling terms, it was wildly over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll beat Breaking Bad, but I think it can not get completely blown out.
Yeah. Sweet. Alrighty. I like that choice. I like that show. I don't know if I've caught the final season of it, but
Okay.
I do like that show.
I never watched it.
Okay, dude. Oh my very last pick.
We should do
Entourage.
128 bracket.
Oh my gosh. I wish. You know what we could end up doing
Triple
if we
threats.
get we could do some triple threats. But leaving that option aside, like I think there are some good matchups that would allow for a show like Nathan for you to slip in, or a show, Impractical Jokers, Ted Lasso. Oh my God, Ted Lasso didn't make it on. Workaholics is on. Good. Workaholics #1 seed. I know what I'm gonna go with. I do know what I'm gonna go with, and a bummer I didn't get to pick some of my favorite shows of all time. I'm going Arrested Development.
Okay. I was that was one of the three I was leaning towards
Yeah.
to go against South Park. So
Okay.
oops.
So the final pick,
All
unless
right.
and I mean, we can. So if you're watching this, which is not a ton of you, but we are open. If your favorite show of all time didn't make it, and we get enough pushback, we'll turn some of these matchups into a triple threat. But for all intents and purposes, what is the final pick, Matt?
Yeah. Well, let me just give some honorable mentions here. I love Nathan for You, but I don't know if it can earn its way into only 32 comedies. I could see it in a good play-in. I also talked to you about Key and Peele. So Nathan for You and Key and Peele are my two personal biased, like really good shows that I don't think will make it. We could slip Key and Peele in the Chappelle Show SNL matchup as a really fair triple threat, quite honestly.
I like that.
I also like Brooklyn Nine-Nine a lot, and I know it's very
Mhm.
popular. I think it's really funny, but I haven't seen enough of it to know if I'm just biased or if I've only seen the good episodes and things like that. So those are also honorable. Those are all honorable mentions for me. What I'm coming down to go up against South Park, I think our preferences and our own blind spots left Sex and the City out because it's not a
Mm.
show that's for us
Mhm.
necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it seems it's one of those things we talked about. You either leave it off or you redo it. Because if we put this in against South Park, it just seems like we just wanted it to lose. And it probably should be taking it into account its full popularity and full audience higher than a 16, but it's
Yeah.
maybe a personal 16 for us.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even probably consider this one. I'll honorable mention it. I'm gonna knock Scrubs out. I really like
Okay.
Scrubs, and it's a really popular, but it's one of those that I don't know if it needs to be on here, but I think it does have like a good cult following. And so I guess I'm between Sex and the City and Modern Family. I'm going to go. You're gonna hate this because Sex and the City I don't think would have a chance based on our target audience. I don't think Modern Family would either. But Modern
Mhm.
Family is sneaky, and people love it more than I think they
Okay.
should. It is funny. I'm gonna get Modern Family on here.
Okay. So
I'm terrified of some of these matchups.
me too. So I know it's very
Comedy
small.
is no clue what's gonna happen with comedy.
Me neither. And I could South Park could get. I mean, South Park could get taken out in the first round easily. Really, any of these matchups. I mean, Arrested Development, such a cult following.
Yeah.
It's wild. So I feel good about this. I'll get this broken up and pop it on our Twitter and Instagram here within the next day or two. And then on Monday, we're running Sopranos House of Cards.
Oh, did I not even notice that juicy drama matchup? That's a good first one. Yeah, do you want to like you bored? You want this to run longer? I would love to just like look at some of these matchups and see if like any you're excited about or have any like big bold predictions early on, quite honestly, because I'm sad that we missed a lot of shows that I think should be on here, but that was bound to happen with 64 regardless. Even if we fix like the 4 shows that people think we're most missing, we're gonna lose 4 shows aside from maybe one of 2 of our personal biases that then those people would be like, you're missing these. So I think at the end of the day, this is as close and maybe close to objective as possible. So I really like this, and I have no clue how. Like with wrestlers, I think we know it's probably going to be a 1 or a 2 seed. Actors, same thing. But TV shows, even within just drama and comedy, have so much more variety within those subgenres.
For sure.
I have no clue.
Right. I could totally sit and chat probably till 1, but I got to use the restroom.
Okay.
So you're going to have to keep the boat floating, the boat floating here. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Right on. All right. Well, if you are hanging out right now, Chris and I just wrapped up setting our best drama/comedy TV show bracket that's going to be starting here next week. We did limit it to shows that would just fall in those 2 categories, which then excludes like reality TV and game shows for the most part. I don't know if I guess also like mostly kids shows, like very young target audience. So we have one half of it is dramas all going up against each other. One half of it is comedies going all up against each other. And we're going to see what happens. We each got to pick just kind of down the line. We started with 1 seeds and just started picking alternating picks. And we're going to kind of look at this bracket a little bit. Right now, you can see kind of like the top half of one region for our drama side. And yeah, I've got a lot of my own personal favorites here, and some that maybe shouldn't be here. There's not, I guess, looking at this right now, and I think we did a better job with comedy in getting some of those shows that were in their prime before we were in that demographic that we wouldn't have come up with at its like prime time. I don't know how we did on that with dramas. I can't think of a lot of like really high dramas, like highly regarded dramas that were like 60s and 70s. It was kind of like film. I feel like it was more like film was dramatic and TV was comedic. There's just like less channels. These sitcoms, you sit down with the family and watch like some low stakes television. This is all made up. I feel like film in the 60s and 70s was where you went for the high stakes stuff, and TV was low stakes. So you had a lot more comedies. Because yeah, what's the oldest show that we have? At least looking at this, and it's probably, I guess Star Trek. I guess some of that genre stuff was pretty big earlier on. I can't scroll this until Chris is back, but I can talk about these matchups. I like Squid Game versus Mr. Robot. I did want to get Mr. Robot on here. It is a personal favorite of mine, but I also didn't want it to go up against something that it was maybe not a good matchup. But I think Squid Game Mr. Robot is a fair matchup for both. Hey, what's up?
Hey. So yeah,
I
I
was-
got few more minutes.
Yeah, so go ahead and scroll through. You can see what I was theorizing on and what weird stuff I was making up while you were out there. If you're looking at drama, who do you want to win? I think I know who you want to win.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think they'll do? And who do you think will win or will have a good showing? If you could guarantee a couple that you think are going to pull through.
Yeah, I want Breaking Bad to win. No secret. Pulling for Breaking Bad. I think this is a good matchup. Game of Thrones, even though it's a 2 seed, I expect it to win. But I think if there's going to be a big first round upset, I think that's where it's going to be. I hear more people talking about Yellowstone right now than really any other show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Yellowstone could pop off. I'm hoping Power does well because I really loved it, but it'll just depend on who's voting.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
Ooh, for dramas, what do I hope wins? It's
Mhm.
weird. I guess I would probably say I want Game of Thrones to win. I still think
Mhm.
it
Whoops.
appealed for the reasons that it appealed to me, and I think it is still also objectively well done.
Mhm.
I did like the Yellowstone pick. I think like at the point we were at, we were pulling from definitely less popular shows that maybe people had forgotten about and don't remember its quality. And so something that's currently airing that's popular maybe will actually truly let us see how popular one is over the other. Because like Game of Thrones, for as good as maybe like Dukes of Hazzard could have been, like who's
Mhm.
watched an episode in the last 10 years, even like big fans, like you just kind of
Mhm.
forget how good some of those older shows that really were good are. And so those were just going to have a losing battle going up against Game of Thrones. I I could see Game of Thrones though losing in the second round to Ozark or West Wing.
Yeah.
I think it will beat Yellowstone though. I think that's just a popular show, but I don't know if people think it's like really, 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 really quality or
Mhm.
like high art value, I guess, or whatever.
Right.
I'm rooting though, so I guess I'm rooting for Game of Thrones. I don't think we get that Game of Thrones Breaking Bad though. And I think a show that will do good that I'm not expecting. Probably not anything down here. I have no
Mhm.
clue. I think Star Trek. But Star Trek did get a pretty high seed.
Yeah, 3 seed. Holy cow.
I see Star Trek possibly easily getting to the Elite Eight. I don't think
Hmm.
it's going to have trouble with Succession. It could. That might be a bigger challenge than Robot or Squid Game.
Mhm.
And then maybe The Wire 24, just because it's with such a different genre. But I
Mhm.
think Star Trek's recognizability and popularity, I would feel I feel it has a really good chance to go Elite Eight.
Yeah. Man.
What about comedies for you?
Ooh, this is the fun stuff. I am so much more a comedy person as
You should just do a
s-
comedy show one.
we totally could. We totally could.
If you hate our drama side or hate our comedy side, if you hate one of them so much, maybe we'll just be like, all right, let's pick 32 more comedies.
Yeah.
Just refeed.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I am really glad you picked up Big Bang Theory. I wasn't going to take it because I don't like it.
Yeah.
um I think it suffers from a little bit of like overhype for me. able to just like reasonably try to sit down and enjoy it. I was always like, oh, people think this is what comedy is. So I was always watching it through like a very analytical lens. I'm like, this is no Seinfeld. This isn't even a Friends. This is, just whatever. But I think, gosh, that is a very good first round matchup.
Yeah, I think it was
Man.
sort of the same thing as getting Yellowstone against Game of Thrones. I think getting Big Bang Theory against The Office at least makes for a matchup that could be semi-competitive.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be hearing a siren in the background. Let me know if you do. I will like turn down what's it picking up.
Okay. I think it's good. Yeah, I did hear it a little bit.
Yeah, it's the world's loudest siren once a month on Saturday. If you're outside, it like
Oh
literally
yeah.
gets into my brain. It's terrible.
Oh gosh, yeah. Um, if I were to go back on one of my picks, gosh, it's so hard. The comedy side was so hard. I'm gonna keep it, but because I think Dick Van Dyke needs to be on here. Same with I Love Lucy, but they're two shows I've never watched, so it's so hard to utilize one of my picks on there when I so badly want a show like Entourage or Community on here.
Community, that's a tough one because that is a very strong following that like there are popular shows that are going to be the ones winning. And then
Mhm.
there are shows that aren't as popular, but people will tell you it is their favorite and they think it is the
Mhm.
best comedy that anybody
Yeah.
should watch. And it's like it's hard because that can't be measured
Mhm.
because not enough people have seen it to be able to echo that. But
Mhm.
like those people that have watched Community, they're all pretty consistent, be like, yeah, it's the best one.
Mm.
All I know is I'm rooting for BoJack. It, I
Go BoJack.
I think it personally should win the whole thing because it is simultaneously the best comedy and drama. It's
Ooh.
better than any show on here. I know anybody that hasn't seen it or has given it a try but not seen the whole thing would be like Matt is talking out of his ass right now.
Mhm.
But this is not like a bit. I legitimately think it is the best written and possibly the best performed, although it has a little bit of an easier time with performances because you're only doing voice acting. So a lot of facial things don't have to be conveyed by people that are
Yeah.
flawed. That's just like, is it animated correctly? But I even think the voice performances are bar none incredible. I think it's like the best TV show of all time, personally.
Dang. Dang. That mean high praise. Well, I think
And you're
I
Breaking
can
Bad
wrap.
for best TV show of all time.
I'm going Breaking Bad. I want it to come down to Breaking Bad and South Park, and then if it does, I want South Park's my choice. But I probably have to well, I do have to drop, but
Yeah.
I think what we do, pop this out, and then we'll say this. Well, we can end on this. There will be triple threat matchups. Um,
There will
I
be
th-
blood.
there will be blood. I think each region should have one or two triple threat matchups. Um, as a way to get more on here because I do think Entourage deserves to be on here. I do think Modern Family or no, Modern Family is on here. I do think Sex in the City, SpongeBob. I think these shows do deserve to be on here. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's drop.
All right. I've got another left. We'll see you later.
See you, dude.